Welcome, and thank you for joining us this evening for Going Places with National Fellowships, talking about summer opportunities. My name is Valerie Weingart, and I am one of the National Fellowships advisors, and I work specifically with first and second year students. But these opportunities that I'll be outlining this evening are not just for first and second year students, although there are many that are open to that range as well. So we're going to detail several different types of fellowships and get some great insights from some of our fellowship ambassadors as well. I do encourage you, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, you're welcome to type them into the group chat. You're also welcome to do the hand raise. And then Nina and Kaylin, if you see things coming up in the group in the chat or see somebody's hand raised, you can chime in and tell me as well, just in case I don't see something like that. But feel free to do that. You're also welcome to unmute and ask questions as well. So whatever you'd like to do, happy to tailor this presentation so that it's great information for you and personalized to your experiences. So ask those questions. That's why we're here. Also, thank you for including some the information about yourself in the chat. Seems like we have a range of majors and experience levels. So we are going to talk about a range of opportunities tonight, and glad to be doing that.
What do you want to do when you grow up?
Hello. All good? All right. So without further ado, let's get moving. So to what is happening tonight. So I'm going to give a little introduction to National Fellowships in case you're joining us for the first time and haven't been to one of our workshops or info sessions before. So I'll make sure that we're all on the same page there. I'm going to help you connect with folks who can help you to engage in the application process, that being some of our fellowship ambassadors, but also some of our National Fellowships team like myself. And then we're going to go into a broad overview of the summer opportunities that are available to you. This is not an exhaustive list by any stretch of the imagination, but these are some of the ones that our students have really gravitated toward over the years, and we've had many students who have participated in these programs. But please know that these are not the only options, but we definitely want to give sort of a test of or a teaser of the different things that are available. And then we're going to do a little bit of reflecting on what makes a strong application. I have a few tips, but then also our fellowship ambassadors are welcome to chime in about the things of their application, or as they've been going through fellowship application processes over the years, what are some of their tips for crafting a strong application? All right. And then I guess I should also ask, is everybody seeing my screen okay and seeing the different information that's getting displayed? Fantastic. All right, very good. So what are National Fellowships? So our unofficial slogan is free money for cool things. And that's something that if you ever see us tabling around campus, if you see our fellowship ambassadors t-shirts, it will have our unofficial tagline, free money for cool things. But what does this actually mean? So if we're going to break it down into the more official definition, national refers to something that is nationally competitive. So these awards and opportunities are something that students from all over the US can apply for. These are not coordinated by USC. So if any of you have received perhaps a Magellan grant, that is a fantastic funding opportunity, but that is something that is offered through USC. So USC is providing that funding and that opportunity, whereas a national fellowship is more from the national level. So these are organizations, foundations, even parts of the government that have money that they want students to apply for a variety of experiences, such as the ones that we're going to be detailing tonight. Also, don't despair when you're hearing about competitive. Competitive is really all about fit and helping students to align their applications with, or align their searches with something that is a really great fit for their interests and their goals. There is no one person who can win every single national fellowship out there because they are so unique. And so it's really all about finding the one that's the right fit for you and applying for that particular one and advocating for yourself that, yes, this is the best fit for me. And there are over 300 national fellowships offered. We have a database on our website called the Info Database, and that is a searchable database. You can filter by search terms, different things to help you find different options, but we're still adding to that. New fellowships are created and we find them and we add them. So that list is growing. I know that when I was here, when I was first hired here, the number was over 250 offered, and now we're up to over 300 offered. So, what is a fellowship then? Well, it's an award and an opportunity. So it's a source of funding that can lead to a lot of different experiences. And some of these are detailed on this slide. So you can receive a fellowship that can help out with college tuition, but it can also lead to international experiences, research opportunities, internships, summer programs, which we're talking today, even into grad school and beyond, and much, much more. So these are these nationally competitive opportunities. What we like to say is that we don't have the money, and we personally as an office do not make the decision about who gets the fellowship, but we know who does have the money, and we can help you to apply for that national fellowship. So once again, we are not USC financial aid. If you have any financial aid questions about your tuition here at USC, your financial aid package through USC, you need to talk with that office instead. So just to differentiate that there, and make sure that we're all on the same page. So who are we? What is the National Fellowships team? So we're a team of 4 advisors, and you can find us on the 3rd floor of Desasseur College, which is on the historic Horseshoe. So we are on the 3rd floor, and you can meet with us either in person or virtually. And we serve and welcome all students on campus. So anyone of any major if you're in a particular living and learning community, any year, we work with all students. We are cross-trained to work with all different types of fellowships and interests, but we do have some areas of specialization. So I'll introduce Jen Best first. She's our Director of National Fellowships. She is the person who is the go-to for if you want to go to the UK, any awards for going to the UK, but also our nominated competitions that such as Goldwater or the Truman Scholarship that require a campus nomination from USC. So you can ask her about those. She's loves all things British, so she's more than happy to help you figure out a way to get to the UK. Heidi Bretz is our International Fellowships Advisor. So again, in addition to if you want to go to the UK, but anywhere else abroad, or if you're interested in language learning, international experiences for undergrad, grad school, out of school, Heidi is the go-to person for that. I'm Val, and I work with 1st and 2nd year students who are starting their fellowship journey. So I like to help students really build their skills for applying for national fellowships. Okay, one more person is joining us, right? So I want to help students build those skills, but also explore widely. You also don't have to be a 1st or 2nd year student to start exploring national fellowships. We're happy to help you at any step of the process. But I'm also the point of contact for the Noah Halling Scholarship, which is an environmental award that you can apply for in your 2nd year. And then finally, Matt Klopfenstein is our Assistant Director of National Fellowships. He's located actually in the Close Hip building because he's associated with the Grad Student Resources Hub, or the Grad Hub, and he works with students who are applying for fellowships that will pertain to graduate school or current graduate students here at USC. So from your first day on campus as a 1st year student to when you're in grad school, or even as you become alumni, we can work with you at any stage of that process. We're happy to do that. Right. So I also wanted to introduce you to a few of our fellowship ambassadors who are here. So Kaylin and Nina, would you mind taking a moment to introduce yourselves and talk a little bit about the particular fellowship that you experienced that, of course, was a summer opportunity?
Sure, I can go first. So I'm Kaylin. I'm a junior English major with a minor in history. And the fellowship that I received was the UK Summer Fulbright, which means that I got a fully funded month of study somewhere in the UK. My program was in Scotland at the University of St. Andrews. And throughout that month, I studied Scottish history and had a ton of opportunities to travel within the country and meet students from within Scotland and also from other parts of the United States who were a part of my cohort.
Thank you, Kaylin. And Nina?
Hi, y'all. My name is Nina. I'm a senior environmental science major. And the summer after my sophomore year, I received an NSF REU. So that's through the National Science Foundation, and it was a research experience for undergraduates. I was located at Rutgers University in the great state of New Jersey, and I was examining how oysters grow on concrete to help with living shorelines. I have a lot of interest in coastal resiliency and nature-based solutions. And it was a great opportunity to get out of my comfort zone. I've kind of been in this state for quite a long time, so that was the first time I had been out for longer than a few weeks.
All right, thank you very much. Well, we're going to detail both of those fellowships in just a little bit, and I'll ask Kaylin and Nina to take the lead on their fellowship experiences and tell you a little bit more about what they all entail. But to give you another glimpse of what exactly we're going to be talking about this evening. So first, we're going to start out with some summer opportunities for STEM majors. And one of the reasons why these summer opportunities can be so enriching for STEM majors is that we know STEM majors often have a very packed schedule in the fall and spring semesters. Of course, every major has very packed semesters, but there's often not a lot of wiggle room in terms of beyond the classroom or outside of the classroom experiences within STEM majors, especially for things like going abroad. That can often be really tough. So these national fellowships and summer opportunities are great opportunities for research, for going abroad, for getting just kind of hands-on experience that you might not be able to have the time to work into your schedule or the flexibility to work into your schedule during the academic year. So some really great STEM opportunities. But that's not where it ends. There are summer opportunities for a variety of majors outside of STEM fields, or even if you're in a STEM field and you want to be pursuing that is outside of your STEM major, such as going abroad or investigating critical need language, for example. So we're going to talk about some opportunities that can be pursued by students in a variety of majors. And again, another great reason is to look at the summertime is maybe you have more time in the summer to be able to do these incredible experiences. And we want to make sure that you know that these things are out there. And just because you can't fit an experience into the fall or spring doesn't mean that it's not possible. And national fellowships are a great way to make that possible. So again, we're going to start kind of the review of fellowships here. So buckle up. If you have questions, feel free to raise your hand or chime in. And our fellowship ambassadors along the way are going to be adding their viewpoints as well. So let's get started with the NSF REUs. And this is the one that Nina was telling you about that she experienced. So NSF REU, you'll also notice with national fellowships that we love our acronyms. So I'm going to make sure that I'm explaining what these all mean. But if you do have questions, don't hesitate to stop me. So NSF REUs, this stands for National Science Foundation Research Experiences for Undergrads. So these REUs are funded by the National Science Foundation. So once again, not USC's funding, but from that national organization. These slides will also be shared with everybody who registered for this session. So you should be able to click these hyperlinks when I send these out later to be able to go directly to these websites. So as Nina was explaining, these are summer research opportunities at universities and research centers across the United States. They're often fully funded with travel, room and board, and a stipend. So you are getting paid for your research that summer. A lot of times there can also be some conference perks or conference presentation experience, and I'll let Nina talk a little bit about that. So when finding a National Science Foundation research experience for undergrads, you can go to the NSF website, and there is an enormous database that they have actually just redone and looks fantastic now that contains all kinds of different REUs, and you can search by field of study or also location. So again, these are all across the US. So if you really want to spend the summer in Arizona at an Arizona university, you can search by that. But also if you are a computer science major and you really want to do something with computer science, you can also filter for that. So it can give you a way to search through those options. So the good news is there are a lot of these. The not so great news is that they all have very slightly different things that they're looking for in terms of applicants. So some are looking for students who have a lot of research experience already. Some are looking for students who are not as experienced in research and are wanting to get started with that journey. So just make sure you're reading the descriptions of each one carefully to figure out what exactly they're looking for in an applicant so that you're, again, finding that right fit. That's also something that our team can help with if you come and make an appointment to meet with us. Also, the deadlines will vary. Typically around January is when we tend to say, but they can extend clear into March and later into the spring as well. But just kind of be ready for some of those January deadlines. some good advice here is to keep a spreadsheet of different applications because chances are you might apply to many of these. It is not uncommon for students to apply to 5, 10, even 15 REUs. And so make sure you're maybe keeping those organized so you can stay up to date about when are letters of recommendation due, when is the application due, what do I need for each one. This is a great opportunity for students in any STEM field or any year, but also sometimes in the social sciences as well. We have also seen those come up. So take a look around. The database is always updating. It should be fairly up to date by now, but it just kind of depends on the particular program and when they're getting their websites updated. But Nina, would you like to add anything in particular about some highlights for your experience, or also how this experience really enriched your undergraduate experience here at USC?
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of just take you through a quick overview. I'll take everyone through. So I applied in the spring of my sophomore year. My deadline ended up being around February-ish, so definitely in that typical timeline. I had already applied to another pretty big scholarship program that I was looking at. So it ended up in a way working out where I was able to use some of my application materials for that larger scholarship. I was able to rework some of it and then also use it for said REU. That's kind of a good trick when you're applying to multiple things at once, but you definitely just want to make sure that you're not like copying and pasting. You want your applications and your essays and all that good stuff to be really tailored. Letters of recommendations, very tailored to the program that you're looking for because you just want to make sure it's a good fit. So I applied in February. I got some notification by March, so that was, an average turnaround. And in my experience, my program, they funded my travel to get up to New Jersey and then back at the end of the summer. And then they also gave me a stipend throughout the duration of the summer. So I was basically getting paid. I think it kind of, if it was like 40 hours of work per week, it ended up being like a full, not like a full-time job, like my work was full-time, but like the pay was reasonable. And then I was paired with a mentor. So a lot of times in these programs, you'll be paired with some sort of mentor because you'll probably be doing some sort of research project. And like I mentioned, in my case, I was looking to see how the eastern oyster settles on different types of concrete in an effort to help create something called living shorelines, which is really important for our coasts. So I have a lot of interests in the environmental and marine sciences. If any of y'all do, definitely hit me up. We can definitely get some coffee. And then it gave me a good experience on being able to carry out a research proposal. So I got my methods, I did all my, I carried out my methods, I did my data analysis, I did my write-up, I presented a poster. It was a good all-encompassing like introduction into what a research program could look like and potentially what maybe higher education, like potentially a science grad school route could also look like. And in my experience, I also was funded to go to a very large scientific conference. It's called Ocean Sciences Meeting. I went the February after, so actually around a year after I originally applied. And that was a great opportunity to be able to network with people. I love conferences personally. I think it's a great opportunity to really interact with people in the field and bring about the importance of science communication. I think I yapped you long enough. Ms. Val, you might have had a question at the end when you originally asked me, but I don't know if I answered that. Let me know.
No, that was great. Just, yeah, I think your point about how this gave you a glimpse into what graduate school could be like, how this kind of enriched your USC experience. It sounds like it gave you a lot of information about potential next steps that you could take in your field as well.
Yeah, for sure. The last thing I would probably say is that this experience was a really like pivotal moment in my college experience because the project that I got paired with, I guess it was like sort of a fluke, but it really made me realize like what I would like to do after college. I'm really interested in using nature-based solutions, green infrastructure, nature-based design. And kind of been interested in how we can use that as it impacts communities. So throughout college, everyone will kind of be able to hone in on what their interests are, kind of figure out, next steps, once you get to junior, senior year. But in this case, the RU was a very pivotal moment. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And another important point, these usually run for about 10 weeks. So if you're wondering how much of this summer will it take up, it's usually around 10 weeks. But yes, all these summer experiences are great opportunities to learn more about next steps in your future, but also to take what you've been learning in your classes and broaden it and to take it into a new experience. Another way that you can be doing some research for the summer is through the DAAD RISE program. So this is through a German academic exchange organization that supports summer STEM research in Germany for a maximum of 10 weeks. So you must be a sophomore or a junior at the time of your application, but no German is required. If you do know German and you have an interest in German life and culture, that's a great bonus, but the language of the research is in English. So what happens with DAAD RISE is that right now the internship database is open and applications are due on November 30th. So you do still have some time for DAAD RISE, but you'll create a profile in their system, and then you get access to a vast database filled with different internship opportunities. So you can take a look through that database and decide the top 3 to which you'd like to apply. You don't have to apply to 3, but you can apply for up to 3. And you write your application toward each of those experiences and why the experience would be a great fit for you, the skills you would bring to the project, but then also some ways that it would impact your future success and your future goals and academic interests. So really fantastic experience to blend studying abroad and experience abroad with doing research in STEM fields for the summer. So you are paid for your research time there. I believe that the stipend is 992 euro per month. So that was what the payment is there. Also some travel funding to get to and from some DAAD meetings that are across Germany. The start dates can be flexible. That's something that you can work out with your internship provider once you have an idea of who you're going to be working with and they've accepted you into the program. That's something that you can talk with them about. And again, that internship database is open now and applications are going to be due November 30th. So if you're interested in going abroad for the summer and doing some STEM research in Germany, it's a fantastic opportunity. I know that some of our fellowship ambassadors and alumni of this program have shared about what a great opportunity it was to learn about Germany as a country. They also had the opportunity to visit other nearby countries as well, while also engaging in research, and that DAAD really trusts the people that it selects to be responsible researchers and to manage their own schedules. So a lot of it is very much self-driven and self-motivated. So if you know that you're ready to take that step and you're excited for that particular step forward, DAAD RISE is a great opportunity. And we do have 2 fellowship ambassadors, Alexis, who's pictured here, and Molly, who would be delighted to talk with you about their experiences with DAAD RISE. The last thing I'll say about this one is the DAAD RISE does require official college transcripts and also something that you need from the university to show that you are enrolled. So those are some sort of clerical documents that can take a little bit longer to get. So please don't wait until the last minute to be requesting those. These are all things that the National Fellowships team can help to talk you through. It's not complicated. Just don't wait till the last minute because sometimes turnaround can be not so fast with this. Right. A little bit closer to home now, we're going to talk about some other research internships for the summer. So these are the NIH, the National Institutes of Health summer research. So there are summer internships with the NIH, mostly in Maryland, and it is a paid internship, but the stipend kind of varies by student level there. The website for this one is incredibly helpful and has a lot of resources for how to be crafting your application and the types of things that they're looking for in applicants and applications. So if you have the chance to follow that link when I send out the PowerPoint later, definitely a fantastic opportunity there to learn a lot. They have a lot of videos, and you can hear from the people who are part of the program to learn more about applying for that one. So As a general rule, what you'll do with the NIH summer internship is that you will create an application and then submit it to the portal. Then you will be able to see all the different internships that are being offered, and it's up to you then to reach out to any PIs with whom you're interested in working. So it's sort of like you put your materials out there and then you invite PIs to find your application in the portal and express an interest in working with them. They do have some sub-programs. We can talk with anybody who's interested about those. For those, you do not contact the PIs, but just know if you're applying for the general program, NIH summer internships, you should be reaching out to the PIs that you will see in the portal. Students who are from underrepresented backgrounds in STEM are especially encouraged to apply, and it does include a summer poster session for all participants. So lots of great professional development. Again, if you're interested in medical research, this is definitely a great opportunity for you. Something to keep in mind with the NIH. So the final deadline is in March or like later into the spring. However, the selections are made on a rolling basis. So the best chance of getting one of these internships comes when applying in the first 2 weeks the applications are open. So it's going to be opening mid-November. If you're really serious about this, you'll be submitting your application and contacting PIs within those first 2 weeks, because that's when a lot of decisions are made and things are rolled out. So just be aware of that and know that in this case, waiting until the deadline is definitely not advantageous. So that's the NIH. All right. Then also thinking about biomedical research and more in that medical realm is the Mayo Clinic SURF, so the Summer Undergraduate Research Fellowship Program. So the website is up there, and this is a 10-week summer internship for undergraduates, and these facilities are located in Arizona, Minnesota, and Florida. So those different states there. The requirements are a 3.0 GPA, and you must be considering a biomedical research career as a PhD or MD PhD. So a little bit narrower on the requirements and the kind of student that they're looking for here. But if this is you, then it could be a fantastic opportunity. I will not read out all of these particular majors that they're particularly looking for, but just know these are some of the majors for which they're looking. And if you see that that's one of your majors or something that you're interested in, this could be a fantastic fit for you. It's a $6,000 award to cover travel, food, housing, and other expenses. And there, again, like a lot of these research programs, there's a lot of mentorship and professional development. So many times with these summer research opportunities, it's just a great chance to start either researching something that you haven't been able to explore before, or also to be able to expand on something that you're already working on here at USC, and if you want to go a little bit more in depth with it. But the mentorship and professional development is so important with these as well, because giving you that conference presentation experience like Nina was talking about, getting the chance to connect with students from all over the country who are interested in this kind of research, but then also connecting with the faculty and the PIs who are leading these. These can be wonderful people who can make recommendations for you for graduate schools, for jobs, for things post-grad, other research opportunities. So again, just a really fantastic way to do something beyond USC, beyond South Carolina, and have that experience as well. So that's Mayo Clinic. But if your research interests are a bit out of this world, there is the South Carolina Space Consortium. So these are a lot of different opportunities for students who have research interests that kind of align with NASA's interests. So there are summer research internships with NASA, and the South Carolina Space Grant Consortium pairs with these internships to supply additional funding. So there's opportunities to intern with NASA, but then also opportunities to propose your own kind of research and be able to get the funding to support that. So lots of different options with the Space Consortium. So if you're interested in this kind of research, we definitely recommend that you take a look at our database to see all the different options that are available, then also to come and meet with us. Anybody for any of these fellowships can meet with us, but just for sorting through the different options and figuring out what might be the best fit for you, really great. So if you have the interests that intersect with NASA and space, lots of really, really cool options here. And the deadline to apply for this one is January 27th. heading into spring. So just know that if this is something that you are interested in pursuing, that application is ready to go and you can start applying for the Space Consortium. So great things. We haven't had anyone do this one in a little while, but it is a fantastic opportunity. Okay, so the next two are fellowships that are not specific for STEM majors, but I just want to flag this for everybody and these really great opportunities that can be utilized in the summer. So the Boren Scholarship supports critical need language study abroad, and you choose your program. The reason why I'm mentioning this in the summer fellowship opportunity session tonight is because there is a special summer option for STEM majors. So if you are a STEM major and you want to be learning a critical need language, which it means it's of critical need for U.S. National security and international relation, and a less commonly taught language, such as, for example, Polish, Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, Urdu, Swahili, languages like that. There is a special option for you to spend the summer in a study abroad program focusing on that language and learning that language. This is sponsored by the Department of Defense. So it provides up to $8,000 for that summer program. But if you are not a STEM major, or even if you are a STEM major and you would like to be abroad for a semester or even the whole academic year, Boren can support that as well. So up to $25,000 in terms of support, but you just need to be thinking, if you're applying for Boren, again, this is a Department of Defense, so thinking about how your interest in learning this language and also the fact that you will learn this language relates to U.S. national security, and also, you know, why is it important for Americans to be learning this particular language in relation to national security. Do note that there is a service requirement with the Boren Scholarship. So if you are awarded this through the Department of Defense, they do ask for 1 year of federal government service after you have completed the grant. So that'll be after you finish undergrad, but then if you are perhaps going to grad school, there are some things that can be shifted there to kind of delay that as well. So just knowing that you would spend at least 1 year working for the federal government, that does not mean necessarily working for the Department of Defense. So lots of different options there. And it is not as limited as you might think. So lots of options. Let us know. We can show you what some of those might be and some things that some of our Boren scholars have pursued in the past. Also, another great option for summer programs. So the Gilman Scholarship is funding for Pell Grant recipients to study abroad in a credit-bearing program. These can be programs of any length as long as they bear a credit. So if you are interested in a Maymester or a summer semester experience, or even a semester-long experience, Gilman can supply the funding for all of those. So it's up to $5,000 for a semester abroad. Also, this is through the Department of State. So if you are a Gilman Scholar and you successfully complete your study abroad program, you will have non-competitive hiring status in the federal government that lasts for a certain period of time. So that actually is a leg up. So if you're interested at all in working for the federal government, Department of State initiatives, things of that nature, Gilman is definitely a great gateway for that. It is not a requirement, but just knowing that you would have a leg up. The deadline for summer programs will be March 6th of 2025 coming up. So just know if you're thinking about something for the summer and you're eligible for Pell, thinking about a Maymester, this is a fantastic opportunity. Again, this is not just for STEM majors, this is for anybody. Boren also not just for STEM majors, there's just that special STEM summer option. All right, any questions about any particular fellowships that I've discussed so far? All right, well then moving swiftly onward, we're going to get into the public health realm also. And I just wanted to mention the CDC John R. Lewis Public Health Scholars Program. So this is designed to introduce undergraduate and recent graduates to topics in minority health and health equity. So they have 7 different summer programs that you can choose from, and they're approximately 8 to 10 weeks at different US universities or centers in the US that deal with public health. A lot of different areas of focus. So we can go from like women and children's health to other populations, all sorts of different things in terms of public health. So if you're someone who is interested in public health, who is interested in healthcare, working with populations that might not be receiving the healthcare that they need, really, really great opportunity here for this. It's a lot of professional development. They include trainings, workshops. There's a research component, but also developing leadership skills, group events, and community engagement. So it's a very hands-on opportunity to be doing research, to be learning from public health experts, to be meeting again students from all across the US who are interested in these same initiatives, but then also working with the communities in question. So really fantastic. Many programs include a stipend, housing, meals, travel. And again, there are 7 different ones to choose from, and you can apply to multiple. So thinking about which one, they each have a slightly different application, but asking very similar questions, but there's a little bit of variance in between those. And the deadline for this one is late January of 2025. Couple things I forgot to mention. I'm gonna go back really quickly. Yes, to the Mayo Surf. We do have a fellowship ambassador. Her name is Katarina. She is a current student who participated in the Mayo Surf. So if you would like to meet with her and ask about her experience, great resource there. And then the John R. Lewis Public Health Scholars, Mariana Orejuela is an alum of that program. She's also a fellowship ambassador and would be happy to talk with you about her experience. So something that was really transformative for her. All right. So now we're heading into the UK Summer Fulbright. All right, Kaylin, you've been waiting so patiently. So I'll just give a little bit of an overview here about what this is. So as Kaylin said earlier, these are 3 or 4 week summer programs in the UK, and you can choose from one of several location options. So the list of UK Summer Fulbright institutions and topics just dropped. So I can tell you a little bit about what these are going to be. So at King's College, it's going to be discussing modern Britain. Bristol will be the focus of arts, activism, and social justice. University of St Andrews in Scotland, which is where Kaylin will be talking about Scotland, history, people. Oh, look at this! You represent. Love it, love it, love it. Lancaster is going to be discussing the environment and sustainability. Birmingham is British cultural heritage, and Queen's University of Belfast is all about understanding Northern Ireland. So as you can see, there are a few that are very focused on UK things, or Scotland, or Britain, or Northern Ireland, very focused on those, but other topics are very broad, such as arts, activism and social justice, environment, sustainability. So you can apply to one of these and think about which one you want to apply for. So it's targeting only first and second year undergraduates who have not traveled much outside of North America and also have no other study abroad programs going on for them in the summer of 2025. And as Kaylin was saying, travel, tuition, and housing were all provided and included. But Kaylin, now is your time to shine. We've got a picture of Richie, who is one of our, he did his UK Summer Fulbright in Wales, but Kaylin was in Scotland. So tell us more about your experience and how it really elevated your experience as a USC student.
Oh, that picture is making me sad because I was actually friends with Richie. He just graduated and I
Oh,
miss him. So
we
shout out
do miss
Richie.
Richie.
Love
Yeah.
him. But yeah, oh my gosh, my Fulbright experience was so fabulous. One of the things I really, really loved about it was that my cohort was made up of people from all different majors. We had a poli-sci major, of course, I'm an English major. We had a pre-health biology major. So there was definitely a variety across the board. Even within my program, which was specifically Scottish history, they certainly did not just take people with an interest in history. That's one of the things I love about it is there's just such a diversity. And really anybody from any major background is a great candidate for the UK Summer Fulbright. So I applied, I submitted my application. The due date was February 1st. And in the weeks leading up to that, I had a lot of meetings with Jen Bess in the National Fellowships office, and she just helped me kind of take my essays to maybe the next level. I had to write a specific essay about a like large political event or a concept that pertains to the US to US politics. So I had to write about just kind of how I would explain some aspect of American politics to somebody my age in the UK, which is something that's distinctive about this fellowship. I ended up going from May 25th until I think June 17th. And yeah, they paid for everything, which was super great. The only thing I had to pay for is if I wanted to do travel within the country myself, which I absolutely did. There were a lot of free travel opportunities that were planned for us that were part of our just part of our whole package. We went all around Scotland. We went to Edinburgh, we went to Glasgow, we went to Perth. We went and saw a bunch of castles, which was really, really cool. But yeah, it's really great. I love how there's a really good balance between time spent in the classroom, learning about Scotland, in my case, but also plenty of time left for you to explore the city yourself or travel with your professors. So yeah, I mean, I truly can't recommend it more. Is there anything else you think I should touch on, Valerie?
Guess what did this do to elevate your experience at USC and maybe give you some clarity about next steps or things you'd like to pursue in the future?
Sure. So actually, funny enough, there is a PhD student here right now, studying romantic poetry, in the English department who got his master's before he came to USC from St. Andrews. So I'm actually in contact with him now, and we bonded over our mutual experience at St. Andrews. And I've started learning a lot about his research and discovered that I really, really love romantic poetry, and I think I want to do that forever. So I actually came upon talking to the romantic literature professor a completely unresearched and undiscovered collection of poetry that is sitting in our national or our special collections and has never had anything written on it. So I'm writing my thesis now about something completely original that I never would have come across if I hadn't made the connection with a student who had also gone to St. Andrews. So the big thing for me was just the connections that I made, and then also just cultivating the love that I already had for Scottish history and Scottish culture, and kind of gave me the confidence that I needed to press forward and undertake this really ambitious research project. So it was completely transformative. I think about it every day.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad that you both had such great experiences with your fellowship. And just by like a show of hands, do you still keep in touch with anybody who was from your fellowship experience?
I just actually got off the phone with one of them before coming onto this meeting.
Yeah. So it's like not just these experiences, but also the connections that you can make through fellowships, whether it's a summer experience, a semester experience, post grad. Those connections are so important and so enriching. And so definitely a great component of any fellowship experience there. But thank you, Kaylin. Yes, so if you're interested in UK Summer Fulbright, this is one of those first and second year awards that I can help with, but also Jen, our director as well. Either of us are great points of contact for this. So if you're interested in this, don't wait and let us know. We can help you with your essays. So still staying in kind of the abroad realm, there's Humanity and Action is the next one that we're going to talk about a little bit. So this is a 3-ish week summer program that takes place in one of several European countries, and its focus is on human rights and activism. So it brings together cohorts of American and European participants, and you create a shared humanitarian project. So you identify some sort of an issue that you would like to address, and then you come up with a project to address that. All the while, you are learning and going to panels, workshops, different things from different experts in different humanitarian fields to learn more about what careers in this area could look like, different forms of humanitarian aid and things of that nature. And so that all kind of comes into play as you create what your project is going to be. And then the point of it is then you take your project back to the US or for the Europeans in their countries, and you start to implement that project. So very much a hands-on project problem solution type of program. So really interesting there. Housing, some meals, and programming are at no cost to participants. Travel stipends can be granted to participants on a financial need basis. This is one of the only fellowships that has an application fee. So this can be waived, but again, let us know if that $20 application fee is cost prohibitive to you or something that is preventing you from applying for this. If you're interested, just let us know and we'll see what we can do to be of assistance with that. And the application is opening soon. With Humanity in Action, I remember last year I had to sign up for a list or like an email list to get an email notification for when Humanity in Action was going to be opening. So if you visit their website and look to see when the application is going live, you can also sign up for that if that is indeed what they're doing this year. But every program is highly interdisciplinary. You're going to get daily lectures and discussions with renowned academics, journalists, politicians, activists. You'll visit government agencies, nonprofit sites. So again, very hands-on, lots of experiences there. And so then afterward, you'll come back and work on your 11-month action project. And we've got Sloan Wilson, which was one of our most recent Humanity in Action scholars, and she was in Copenhagen working on her project. But really cool there. So if you're interested in activism, then Humanity in Action is a fantastic program for you. Okay, then the Critical Language Scholarship. So Boren was for critical need language study, but for Boren, you choose your study abroad language learning program, and it's sponsored by the Department of Defense. Critical Language Scholarship is sponsored by the Department of State, and it is specifically a summer program that they have created. So the Critical Language Scholarship is sort of an all-inclusive language learning experience that has been set up for students to participate in. So for these critical need languages, some languages require a few years of prior study before participating in CLS, but others are for folks who have never studied the language before. It just depends on the language. And these are 8 to 10 week experiences in a country where the language is spoken. So it features a blend of in-classroom instruction, conversation practice, and also cultural immersion. I believe you take a language pledge when you begin to say, I am only going to be speaking in my target language for the entire time that I'm here. A lot of times students stay with host families. So again, you are just surrounded by that language. And it is possible in some cases to go from not knowing any of the language to intermediate advanced proficiency by the end of the summer. So it is all language all the time. Really fantastic experience. Airfare is covered. Your program is covered, lodging is covered, some meals are provided. They take you on excursions places, like they take great care of you in CLS. Also, this is another Department of State program. So again, you get that non-compete eligibility upon completion of the program. So great for anyone pursuing careers in the federal government. And yes, it is credit bearing. So you can earn credit for participating in this program. Also, Kaylin, UK Summer Fulbright was also credit bearing. So some of these you can be getting credit for that, which is fantastic. Application is coming up soon for this one. So November 19th, if you are interested in studying a critical need language, there are, I believe, 12 that are being offered this year. So Boren has a wider variety of languages, but again, Critical Language Scholarship also has those 12 that they're offering as well. So really fantastic. And then also, for some of the languages that require prior study, they are now offering CLS Spark, which is something that you can do virtually with no language experience. So for example, Arabic requires some prior language study to do the in-person program in the country where the language is spoken. However, you can apply for CLS Spark to do an online language experience for the summer. And then anyone who completes CLS Spark is automatically a semifinalist for the in-person program the next year. So it's a really great way to kind of get into the pipeline there and really get your application and your foot in the door with CLS. So again, if you see a language where it's like, I just really can't take those classes at USC, or it's not offered here, this is just not going to work. CLS Spark is a great way to get that experience and then also get in the pipeline for the in-person program. So really fantastic. Heidi Bretz, who is one of our fellowship advisors for International Awards, she is a CLS alum. She studied Arabic, so she can rave about this program, but really, really fantastic. But just remember that is coming up November 19th. And this is one for which you can apply in undergrad and also grad school. You just have to be enrolled when you apply and when you're participating. So great things there. All right, so we're going to bring it back closer to home for these last two opportunities. And these are focused more in the public service realm. So the AEI Summer Honors Program is stands for the American Enterprise Institute, which is a policy think tank in Washington, D.C. So this is a program to go to Washington, D.C. And take classes and hear from guest lectures from policy experts. So if you'll see, Scotty Green is in the photo here. Scotty's wearing the green blazer. And Scotty participated in this program in the summer of 2023. And each of these policy areas is 1 week in duration. So there are a lot of different policy areas that are offered, and you decide which ones you'd like to apply for and kind of rank your preferences there about which ones you'd like to apply. And then this is a week-long experience. So if your summer is filling up and you don't have time for a full summer program or even a month-long program, but you're interested in policy, this is a really great option for just a week-long experience. It provides funding for housing, travel, most meals, and a $250 stipend for the week. So they take good care of you. And then this application is going to be coming up in the spring. So do early February for an early decision, but you can also just apply for regular decision in March. And there's a lot of different, like I said, a lot of different policy areas. Definitely check out their website because they do detail all of the different policy areas that can be covered. So if you're looking to get an introduction to policy, or you're already really into it and you just want to meet up with more people from around the country again, and have a great summer experience in DC, fantastic for AEI. Okay, and then last, but certainly not least, we want to highlight another program that is more in the kind of the public service and also the foreign service realm. So this is the Wrangell Summer Enrichment Program. And if you are interested in exploring the foreign service as a career, this is the program for you. So if you're not sure what a foreign service officer is, I certainly didn't know until I was in grad school. So I've got a little definition here. So foreign service officers formulate and implement the foreign policy of the United States. So they spend most of their careers overseas as members of U.S. embassies, consulates, and other diplomatic missions. Though some do receive assignments at Congress, educational institutions, or here domestically in the U.S. So if you're really interested in representing the U.S. abroad and kind of being that first line of diplomacy, but also helping out and assisting any like American citizens who are abroad, things like that, foreign service is a fantastic opportunity for that. So if you just want to learn a little bit more about what that would all be about, the Wrangell Summer Enrichment Program is a 6-week fully funded program, plus a $3,200 stipend that takes place at Howard University in DC. So you'll take 2 courses while you're there. There's a writing seminar and also visits to DC government and also the non-government organization offices. So real deep dive into public service, getting to meet folks who are in the foreign service, all those good things. So if you're thinking, well, I'm kind of interested, but I'm not totally sure, this is a great way to learn more about it. Sophomores and juniors are invited to apply, and the application is already live. So the deadline is early February for that one. Do want to flag that so Wrangell Summer Enrichment is just a starting point for a career in the Foreign Service. If you decide that you love this summer experience and you really want to be a Foreign Service officer, there are fellowships such as the Wrangell Fellowship that provides a pathway to the Foreign Service and supports 2 years of graduate school. So those are really fantastic fellowships for if you decide you do want to go into the Foreign Service, and also have grad school paid for along the way. So just, fellowships can also lead to other fellowships. A great way to get started and explore your options. So speaking of what's next, all right, so if you have heard about a fellowship that you have found to be intriguing, or one that you're really excited about or want to know more about, here's some things that you can do to be kind of preparing to be a successful applicant, and also to be exploring your options. So of course, engage in your classes. So much of being a competitive fellowship applicant is knowing what's important to you, what you're passionate about, and what you're interested in. So pay attention in your classes to the things that really spark your interest. If there's something that you're finding you're really passionate about, remember it, because that's something that can possibly be explored through a national fellowship. And you can even learn new areas within that you didn't even know you were interested in before. Definitely review the websites of programs of interest. So again, I'm going to be sending this PowerPoint to anybody who registered for this meeting tonight. You can go through and look at all of these very carefully to look for their selection criteria and read more about the programs. And definitely connect with a fellowship ambassador who has the fellowship experience. So Kaylin and Nina are both fellowship ambassadors. We have about 20 fellowship ambassadors, and we have a Coffee with a Fellowship Ambassador program where you can request a coffee chat with one of our FAs, and we pay for the coffee or on-campus beverage of your choice. So those are non-binding, of course. We're never going to force anybody to apply for a fellowship, but definitely find out more. And that form is on our website to request the coffee chat. Definitely make an appointment to talk with a National Fellowships advisor, such as myself, to discuss options. You can find you can make an appointment with us through Navigate, just like you would meet with your academic advisor, and you can find us under involvement and engagement. So that's where we are. We do in-person and virtual appointments. Definitely find recommenders before the end of the semester. So if any of these summer opportunities, if you're like, I want to do something this summer and I know the thing that I want to do, and I saw it on this slideshow, just know that a lot of these national fellowships do require some letters of recommendation. So those are also things that need to be included in your application. So thinking about who those people might be: professors, bosses, your PI and your research lab, those different folks there. Definitely plan for drafts and deadlines. So very rarely is a fellowship application born overnight. We try to encourage students not to procrastinate that much. Give yourself some time, because the types of questions that we asked in these applications are very introspective and very reflective, and they really want to see the things that you're interested in and passionate about. And sometimes that can take multiple drafts to really work through. And that's why we're here. We do give feedback on applications and essays. So give yourself that time. I see Kaylin nodding. Yes, give yourself that time, and continue meeting with the National Fellowships team for guidance and feedback. You can get as much feedback on your application as you would like. We will never cut you off. So happy to do that. Nina and Kaylin, really quickly before we wrap up for the evening, any other tips for applications or for applying for a summer opportunity?
My favorite thing to tell people, and I think the thing that maybe was really helpful for me when I was doing my application for the UK Summer Fulbright, was my letter of recommendations. I know way too many people, even now, who are applying for grad school, who didn't take the time while they were in classes to develop good relationships with their professors, close relationships specifically. I definitely had, I feel like, an advantage because I had a recommender who I had not just been in his class, but I had also done research with him, it's kind of a funny story. I asked him on the very first day of class during my freshman year if I could do research with him. So very preliminary. He didn't even know me yet, but luckily he gave me a chance. So I definitely would say, especially for people who are freshmen or sophomores, take the time now to really start cultivating those relationships with professors, because that's going to yield even better letters of recommendation, which I feel like a lot of people often kind of shrug off and think aren't as important as a part of their application, but they totally are super duper important. So make sure you give that your due diligence.
Thank you, Kaylin. Great tip there. Nina, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yeah, I would probably say, if you're thinking about applying to more than one, think pretty strategically, because there's a lot of value in applying to multiple. But there's a lot of value in applying to maybe not just one, but a few. So you don't want to spread yourself too thin. You want to make sure that you can find ones that could be a really good fit. And then the other thing I would say would probably just be um, the most impactful thing out of pretty much every statement or every application, besides from letters of rec that Kaylin definitely commented on, are going to be those personal statements. So you really just want to make sure that you find your voice in whatever the specific questions for each of those short answer, personal statement kind of questions are. So make sure you utilize your resources at national fellowships, like in the office. You can chat with us, please. I would love free coffee. I'm sure Kaylin would too. Um, and I've definitely used many of the essay reviews in general, and just resources in general, accountability groups, etc.
Yes,
I do.
fantastic. Yeah, so give yourself time to lean into that. Yes, Kaylin, I'll give you just a second. But also like the process, engaging in the application process is like, that is the thing that we as the National Fellowships team can guarantee that you can have a great experience through that process, learn a lot about yourself, and write a bunch of materials that can really help you advocate for yourself later on, whether you're applying for grad school, applying for a job, all kinds of things there. But yes, Kaylin?
I do have one more thing I wanted to add. What Nina was saying kind of jogged my memory about it. I wasn't super confident when I applied for the summer Fulbright that I was going to be a strong candidate because I knew that there are lots of people out there who had more internship experience than me, more research experience than me, better grades than me, maybe. So I almost chickened out at the last minute before I submitted it. But I think something also that really, really helped me shine. Is during in my personal statement, it was exactly that. It was super personal. I explained how much I loved Scotland and how much I was so excited to go, and gave all these specific things that I wanted to learn and do while I was there. And your natural enthusiasm and love for what you're doing is absolutely going to shine through in your application. So I would highly recommend that if you're even remotely interested in any of these, that you apply for them. Because the worst thing that can happen is that nothing changes, but the best thing that can happen is you get a really cool, fully funded opportunity. So, yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yes. And I mean, even a change for the better is that you just now have all these application materials, and it will never be as tough the second time. You know what I mean? Because you've already
Yeah.
created these things. But no, I love that. I've been telling that to a lot of students, Kaylin. It's like, yeah, the worst that can happen is that nothing changes, and you cannot win if you do not enter. So don't self-select out before you even get started. That's why we're here to help. We will be your biggest cheerleaders through the whole thing. So with that, I have a QR code here to go to our Getting Started page. This is where you can find our info database, link to Coffee with a Fellowship Ambassador, and also a link to make an appointment. But thank you for spending part of your evening with us. We really appreciate it. I am going to attempt to stop the recording. Please. No, go back. There we go. What just happened? See, aha, stop recording. Yes.